After losing everything I own to the 2019 bushfires in Australia, I've rebuilt my life and plan on travelling to every continent with my Africa twin. Join me on this adventure as I rise from the ashes of my former life. So this train here is the E18, and it's a relic of the early railway days. They call it the time machine. Throughout history there are stories of relics that have endured beyond their own time, isolated curiosities that have managed to sidestep extinction to survive into the modern era. The endurance of 1866 built 060 steam locomotive E18 can be considered one of those survival stories. 1866, wow. I'd seriously love to see something like this fired up. Signals. So it looks like the firebox here actually has no bottom on it. But how cool that you can actually just walk into the steam engine, and it's all been done accessibly as well, so even somebody with a wheelchair can do it. It's kind of cool. Ah, here's the mail car. The HKL 360 sorting mail on the move, the travelling post office.
We've a fair bit of work to do, mate. We're sorting mail for stations on the southern line and into the main set of wire baskets here.
Oh, so we drop off more than Goulburn mail at Goulburn Station?
Do, right. Goulburn to Taralga and Brookwell in the first row of baskets, because it all comes off at Goulburn. Between it and Yass. We'll be passing through those stations tonight, but we're express from Goulburn to Yass with no stops. Our timetable becomes a mess. The local train will take the mail down the line tomorrow during its regular run.
So the reason why I swapped cameras is because this thing is humongous. That was my full reach plus the stick holding this thing. So the Garratt locomotive was an imaginative articulated steam engine concept conceived in England by Herbert William Garratt in partnership with Bayer Peacock. The 42 AD 60 class locomotives built for New South Wales Government Railways were an example of the concept taken to the ultimate degree, massive, powerful and a sight to behold. You can see how tall people are standing beside this thing. It is massive, absolutely massive. She's big, very big. What was known as a red rattler, because they were red and they rattled. Moo. Bayer Peacock, 1881, Manchester. Huh. Isn't it amazing to see that they're still in beautiful condition? The men who made them are long dead and buried, and their legacy lives on. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is the 3801, the pride of the New South Wales fleet. Everything's lined up over the other side there, and we can't actually go to there because that's the live rail lines. Because they were supposed to be going up to Maitland for Mother's Day, but there's been a landslide between Thirlmere and Picton, and as such, the trains couldn't get out. Let's just take a quick peek up here. Like I say, we can't go over the other side of this fence because that's the live rail lines, despite the fact there's nothing moving there. But that's the rules, so we shall stick to them. But I want to go to the 3801 to be able to show you my favourite steam engine. What are the springs for this? Very interesting. She was fully restored here, and I believe it took a decade. Ooh, it's dark. Then he says, "Let there be light." And there was. Look at the ceilings. How cool. So, little wash basins, double bunks, little sets of steps to go up to them. How cool is this? Huh. And it's surprisingly quite cool in here. It's beautiful. Because while it's not a hot day, look at this when the bunks are folded up. It can be very civilized. And your wash basin has a tap in it, and when you lift it up and fold it into the wall, the water runs down the drain. Probably straight onto the tracks, I would hazard a guess. Huh. Completely everything packed away. How cool are these carriages? I mean, okay. It's not real big in here. I mean, I know I'm not the smallest guy around, but yeah, trying to get 2 people across. And then we're going to first class. Oh, check this out. So first class travel was a whole different world really in the romantic era of the trains. I mean, even today first class travel is a different world, but yeah, whole different thing. But these trains, like, to look around inside of them, you look around and you notice that, you know, all of the pressed tin in the walls and ceilings and so on. It's so cool. So very, very cool. And real timber used in places. Like, I mean, gotta love my super squeaky stealthy boots, right? Or super stealthy squeaky boots, whatever. In fact, train carriages even had mirrors in them back in the day. Mining car. And it's a non-smoking dining car. Oh, hang on. We're confused about that. Welcome to the old days. Smoking section of the dining car. Non-smoking section of the dining car. These days, try and light up a smoke on a train carriage and see what happens to you. But of course, that was the thing, was that you could have a smoking seat on an airplane, in a train, you know, and it wasn't a big deal. And then things changed. But the penalty for smoking at this end of the car is $10. But you've only got to go halfway up the car to smoke. Makes you wonder what the difference is. It's all the same air, right? These carriages are getting tighter and tighter. These trains here, and I'm just going to go read the sign first, but these were the commuter trains for Sydney. Double-decker Pioneer, as it says here. To commute to work by train in Sydney today, the train you travel on is very much a descendant of this experimental double-decker and the motor carriages that were built right alongside it. The Tangaras, Millenniums and Waratahs, they all began right here with this. And, yeah. So normally you wouldn't be coming up into this section here. This section would be for the driver and guards only. Normally this door here would be closed and you would enter through the double doors just here on either side, and you could then choose to go upstairs or downstairs. And the modern trains look almost identical to this even now, but yeah, It's the interesting part of it. And nothing's particularly built for tall people. You had to close the doors. Huh. I remember getting on some of these. They were still running around, maybe not this particular age of them, but they were still running around for a while. And yeah. So even in these carriages here, it's the same deal. The seat simply flips over and it even tilts the back that way or that way, depending on which way it's facing. And it's that easy. Very good system. We started to get to the point of actually making things almost tall enough at one point, but there you go. So folks, from the inside of this lovely old train carriage, I'm going to bid you farewell, and if you enjoyed today's video or you got something out of today's video, please do consider giving the video a big thumbs up. If you want to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing down below. And I'm going to go and find myself some accommodation for tonight. I camped last night, but I'll tell you about it when I get to the accommodation. Whole other thing. And yeah, so I'm going to go and sort out my accommodation for tonight. In the meantime though, ride safe and get out and live your own adventure.